To choose the most suitable guide dog, the woman gave a single call, and all the dogs immediately rushed over, but only one little dog was left standing, still not reacting. After a few seconds, it finally trotted over, a bit behind the others. It looked up, sat down, and stared blankly at the owner, as if to ask, "Why did you call me?" Yet the seemingly clumsy little dog was ultimately chosen as the best candidate for a guide dog, because it was calm and composed, unhurried and patient, the essential qualities of a guide dog. And so, Little Q left its first owner and was sent to a guide dog training center. However, the trainer didn't start training it right away but arranged for it to stay with a foster family. A guide dog needs to experience plenty of love in its childhood to build trust in humans. Little Q had a happy childhood there. It had its own little yard, where it could eat its fill and nap peacefully, living a carefree life. But time flew by, and a year passed in the blink of an eye. Though Little Q's mind was still maturing, it felt deeply loved by its foster parents. One night, snowflakes began to fall, signaling that the day of farewell had arrived. The next day, the foster parents took Little Q for a long walk along the cherry blossom trees, reminding it to come back when the blossoms were in bloom. Finally, Little Q was placed in a car, and the pain of separation was inevitable. Seeing Little Q in the car, bewildered, the foster parents had intended to bid a calm farewell, but as the car drove farther away, they couldn't resist running after it, stopping only at the road's end to wave goodbye. They knew Little Q had an even greater mission waiting ahead. This marked Little Q's second farewell, and it was sent to the guide dog training center. But on the first day there, it felt completely out of place. Used to home-cooked meals, it couldn't tolerate the dog food there, and kicked the food bowl away in frustration. Yet no one there would indulge it. Little Q went hungry all night, and by the next day's training, it was so hungry that it ate whatever it could find. The trainer found this scene amusing, and everyone agreed it couldn't resist the temptation of food. Then, during obedience training, all the other dogs followed commands, but Little Q sat lazily on the ground, refusing to budge. Fortunately, the trainer didn't give up on it. He started to encourage and guide it, touching the birthmark on Little Q's belly and calling it the most unique dog he'd ever seen. No sooner had he said this, Little Q stood up, then Little Q finally began to cooperate under the trainer's gentle guidance. After a few days of training, the trainer assumed Little Q was just an ordinary dog, until one day, before leaving, he told Little Q to stay put, and Little Q lay there, waiting for a very long time, so long that the trainer forgot about it, only noticing it while training other dogs, when he realized Little Q was still there, quietly waiting for his return.